Hello, everybody. My name is Ray. Welcome to the Evangelical Dark Web. Today, we'll be doing a follow up video on the last video I did on the gay chorus of San Francisco and their cringy, um, just a cringy song that they made, basically trying to gaslight you into thinking that you're crazy when this homosexual and transgender movement is basically trying to groom your children. Now, I pointed that out in the past, but the way that they were doing it in that video was to make you feel like you're crazy by the fact that they were mocking you. They were passing off their agenda in jest to mock you. So we're going to continue on with that story because why not? The YouTube algorithms and all that. And there's just a lot more to the story. So I made a slideshow for this occasion. So, but first, let's talk about some levity. Let's bring some levity to the situation because I got a lot of comments on the last video. So, let's share the winners of the comments section. I like to reward some winners sometimes. You just make me laugh. I gotta highlight that in this video, I guess. Has anyone seen the Gay Men's Chorus full musical? It's called Diddler on the Roof. Fantastic. That was good. And then I used the term clutch pearls, saying I wasn't clutching pearls. And then this commenter named Kendricks said, clutch pearls wasn't the best metaphor to use here, brother. And, I see the error of my ways because that comment made me think of the movie Tropic Thunder. Like, if you've seen Tropic Thunder, you see the opening credits scene or the previews for the movies. And that just reminded me of the Tobey Maguire, Robert Downey Jr. scene. If you've ever seen Tropic Thunder. So the plot thickens, and they released a statement saying this is why we took the video down. So I'm not going to read this whole thing because that's a waste of time. But long story short, they said that they were being threatened. And my rule on internet threats is pics or didn't happen. That's just my general rule. Little story, the general rule is pics or it didn't happen. So on one of the last videos I did was on this Christian grifter who's just a talentless writer who actually incidentally wrote something heretical, calling the law the gospel. But she claimed that she made her Twitter account private because of the death threats she was receiving, and then she posted screenshots of these supposed death threats, and they were just standard hate mail. They weren't actual threats. So, my rule is pics or, I don't really care. So I don't just believe death threats out of the blue. They probably just received hate mail. But obviously, they took it down, and now they're talking about how they are going to censor the crap out of people who are downloading and re-uploading the video somewhere else. Now, they claim that so far they've been successful, but the video I showed you in the original video on this subject was not the original video. It was a re-uploaded video, and as of the recording of this video, that video is still live on YouTube. So I don't know how successful they are. My content has not gotten a copyright claim, and it probably won't because it was a clear reaction video in fair use. So good luck. I have a winning record against these copyright claims, and I, invite that. But moving on, a lot of people on 4chan discovered that there were some sex offenders on the roster. So, I looked through their list, and I have not researched every single name on this in their roster. Because, not only do you have to deal with their roster, the tenors, the second tenors, the bass, the baritones, not only do you have to look up each individual name in that, you also have to look up their board of directors and all the other staff. And on 4chan, they found some people on the board of directors that had matching names in the sex offender registry. Now, I wasn't able to verify that, and so I'm doing a very limited exposure of this because based on what I can verify, and then I'll also posit some theory, but that's incomplete. But we'll get there towards the end. So going back, this was the big name that was pointed out, David Wallace, and a couple notes here. I'm not fully convinced by this picture match. This was identified by 4chan, second tenor on the roster, if you want to look that way. The middle name does not match, but there's a possible face match there. You see the mustache is very darkened and distinct and shaped the same way in both of these pictures. The glasses are very similar. The eyebrows are a little different. The hairline is very similar. The head shape is very similar. The ears, probable match there. And that jawline, very much the same. So that was one of the possible matches on 4chan. And again, this guy committed lewd or lascivious acts with a child under 14 years of age. This was done back in 1985. Only got 4 years for that. Interesting. So that was example one. Again, there's some flaws with this example. It's not a smoking gun per se, but prima facie evidence that there's a match here. Example number two, I actually think this is stronger, is Lawrence Earl Friedberg. I think that's how it's pronounced, not Friedberg. And as you can see here, his known aliases include using his middle name, Earl. And again, lewd or lascivious acts with a child under 14 years of age, convicted in 2001, released in 2009. Listed in their cast as Earl Friedberg, another second tenor, known to use middle name as alias. I'm not able to confirm his face, but if you see, he's got a mustache, so the ability to grow facial hair, a nose. His hair obviously could change, so he's a little harder to pinpoint. I had a couple theories, but I wasn't too confident in my ability to match him in the roster here. And so these are some matched names. This was one of the names on 4chan that was confirmed. There was another name, but that guy didn't match the profile. So I didn't think that guy on the board of directors was confirmable. But this guy, possible. I don't have a face to match it with. Michael Tate, another person on their singing roster. A name that matched, possible. Mike Joyce, I thought this was an unlikely name match. Jim Graham, there's two names that popped up that could have had possible face matches. And, again, I'm just doing a cursory search. Okay, possible face match. This one I thought was a stronger one because if you look here, the nose, very similar. And you got to think that the camera angle is a little different. The camera angle is a little different. In the mugshot, you see it's more angled upward. In the zoom, it's more angled downward. So that is one of the reasons why we see a little bit of discrepancy. Another reason is obviously aging. And a lot of this relies on, a weight loss. Obviously, this guy has some chub here that he would have had to have lost in order to look like this. But as you can see, there are very distinguished wrinkle lines, particularly on the left, on our left side of his face. So you see on his, I believe that would be his right eyebrow, very distinct crease here. And the chin, if he lost weight, would probably match that chin there. And that's the same picture. And you see that this creasing, very distinct on that side of the face, probably only gets worse with age. And, another big thing about this particular face here is this guy is currently in violation of sex offender protocol, I guess. So if that, if this information getting out there leads to his arrest, more power to that, I guess. So obviously you can see there's some similarities between here. If he aged and lost weight, you could see this guy turning into this guy right here. You could see that. Other than that, the eyebrows, little different. Could have gotten grayer and therefore harder to recognize over Zoom. Zoom webcam, possible. And again, this relies on a weight loss as well as aging. So that's a possible match. So there are more names to search. I cannot do this all. It is currently 3:30 in the morning as I'm filming this. So I don't really have the time to search every single name. I'd like to, but I just don't have the time. So let's just wrap this up. Another thing to point out, corporate sponsors. Corporate sponsors. These are the people that sponsor this organization that is putting out this child grooming celebration song. I don't know what Zandex is. Airbnb, very woke company. AT&T, not surprising there since they're telecom. Some hotels, investment firms, a few investment firms and banks. Kettle One, well, I'm more of a Square One guy myself. Forrester Financial, again, more financial firms. And we got a car dealership. And, of course, we got some additional support, some foundations, media. Do we have any Bill Gates? Nope. But as you can see, these guys are well funded. And it's a shame. It's a shame that such a lascivious organization that has no scruples about having possible numerous sex offenders singing a song about coming for your children, they had no scruples to think that maybe that's a bad idea. And this is where we're at now. So I encourage you to go through the names and search them yourself on the California Sex Offender Registry. I encourage you to do your own research. I certainly did my own research, and I came to certain disagreements with the 4chan researchers, but that's okay. So I didn't want to run everything that they came up with, but they did do some good work here. So credit where credit is due. If you like this kind of content, subscribe to the channel for more content like this. My name is Ray. This is the Evangelical Dark Web. If you like this content, subscribe to the evangelicaldarkweb.org also. And I'll upload the PowerPoint onto the website so you can download it yourself and you have more resources. So comment below what you think about what I think, and I'll catch you on the next one.